What is going on, tanks, healers, and damage dealers? I am Septilence, back with Neely, who's been around for a little bit, but now I'm going to be jumping in here for Infernosis. Right now, we've got UCSC, University of California, Santa Cruz, going up against Boise State.
I'm excited to see this game kick off. Boise State has kind of been the team in this division since last season. One of my caster buddies who was here was always talking about this Boise State team and how good they really are. But UCSC is also undefeated going into this match. Both teams are undefeated, and we're going to have to see which one is going to go home defeated tonight because one of their streaks will be broken. Do you have any thoughts on who that might be?
Yeah, so we definitely talked about this a little bit off stream, and just to not go through their entire track record, but we see Boise State, they have 4-3-0 wins. They have 1-2-1 win. And then Santa Cruz, they have, what is that, 2-3-0 wins and 3-2-1 wins. So they both may be undefeated, but it looks like Boise State is doing that a little more consistently. So I would say personally, just going off the statistics here, I'm not super familiar with either team, but just off of the numbers, I think Boise State's got a pretty good opportunity here.
Yeah, Boise is definitely the favorite as of right now, but I've also heard that UCSC has shown up in other leagues and done rather well, maybe is better than Boise. We're going to have to see. It seems like UCSC is a little bit more flexible with their hero picks, their main
Yes.
tanks, seems to play all of the main tanks. Not that Boise can't do that, but Boise seems to have very defined hero pools. Guac,
Yeah.
you're going to see him on the wrecking ball, very good on that hero. And then I don't remember who it was, but we're going to see a Tor Bastion player
This will be
exclusively.
Goblin.
Goblin, which I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out, but if you're Boise State and you've 3-0'd almost everybody in this division, it's clearly working and you're clearly clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, and it definitely makes sense for Goblin to be the one in chat to say, can we play Paris instead? So definitely playing a bit of a character here. Like you said, bringing out exclusively Torbjorn and Bastion. That is their entire hero pool, at least as far as we're concerned here at NECC. And it's going to be quite interesting. You talked about as well, Guac only has Wrecking Ball kind of in that pocket, but then you look at their off tank, and it's going to be Kel, who has Roadhog, Zarya, Diva, Sigma listed. So maybe things
Yeah.
come a little bit more aggressive. Maybe Kel is leading the charge a little more consistently, and Guac is off doing, Wrecking Ball things.
Yeah, it seems to be on Kel to pick up all the other tank flexibility. If
Yeah.
something is happening to the team that they need to mitigate, Kel is going to be the one that they call upon. Guac, they're just going to say, keep doing wrecking ball things. You're awesome. You're nasty. Just keep, diving the back line. Keep getting those big slams and farming up those mines. Because if you are a really good wrecking ball, at the end of the day, there's nothing that can truly shut you down. They can put on a Sombra, they can put on a Kree, but if you're in 4K and you're playing these characters, you know how to adjust your play style
Yeah.
and still find tons of value. And with these players around him, they know how to find tons of value on all of the slams. So if you are a wrecking ball team, it's very difficult to play into and shut down if they're the strongest player on the team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, if you're up in 4K and you're bringing out characters like Bastion, like that is not something you see super often. So you know that this player has to have some pretty great understanding of the character as a whole, because that is a difficult thing to do. It is not a character you see pretty much past, I'd say, usually like plat normally. But so to see it make its way all the way up here to the Gladiator division on an undefeated team, no less. I'm very excited to see what's going to be coming out here.
Yeah, and usually when you see a character like Bastion, double shield is played around it. Maybe
Right,
you go
right.
for the super cheese of like a sim, but I don't think you'd see that here, obviously. But I have a lot of fun with that. TP the Bastion around in the double shield. It's very hard to track down and shut down. But that's another thing is Bastion is usually one of those characters. He's like a skill check character. He's one of those ones where it's like you put him on, if you dominate the enemy team, they just weren't able to adjust to you. And usually the higher you go, the better they are at adjusting. They can play
Right.
more characters and their skill is higher. They know not to just peek the Bastion for 5 seconds and get annihilated. I don't know what he favors to pick. I know we're talking about the Bastion, but it makes me think he has to be on the Torb
I
quite
agree.
often
I agree.
because Overload is such a strong ability, makes you go faster, shoot faster, gives you 100 or so, maybe 150 armor on top of the 50 armor that you already have on your 250 HP. He's a very tanky little guy, and he has the same damage as McCree, so he can deal it out there along with his hit scan turret, which doesn't miss. So
Yeah, the turret quite literally a little bit of an aimbot there. There's a couple abilities in the game, such as Bob or that turret that kind of lock on like that. And like you said, we talked about the Bastion a lot, but I agree. I feel like we're much more likely to be seeing that Torbjorn. Bastion may come out on one of these maps, perhaps a payload map that we'll be seeing later on today. We see both Eichenwald and Gibraltar, so maybe the Bastion starts to show its head a little bit more there. But on maps like this, where the moving is a little more consistent and there's not really somewhere you can just set up, so to speak, I think we're going to be seeing that Torbjorn.
yeah, and with that again, that Bastion pick that we keep talking about, it's why we think it's going to be Torb. They have been 3-0ing people. Maybe the reason we see that he's played Bastion is because they're up 2-0 and they're like,
Right.
play Bastion, let's rip it out there. Maybe that's how they dropped one of their maps. So it could be a bit of a meme pick. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen so myself, but I hope they just open right up on it after we've talked about it.
I would love to see it, but unfortunately, it looks like they're actually going to be lying because Goblin is currently, for the time being, locked in on Echo. So we may have just talked about a bunch of things that don't actually matter. Now it's going to be locked on a Tracer, which is also not Torbjorn or Bastion. So there's a pretty likely chance maybe neither of those characters make an appearance here, and that would explain the record a little bit more.
Yeah, and this all makes 10 times more sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming out on this kind of a comp. This is a comp that I would expect from GM players, people that play the game rather efficiently. Guac going to be on the Winston. We're going to have to get this on our little information card for these guys that Winston and Echo aren't in the hero pool, of course. But the fight's going to open out here on Ilios.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised, like you said, to see that double bubble comp coming out. That's something that's a little bit more, consistent there. So we see this a little more in this competitive Overwatch region. And Guac not taking a lot of damage early on. We're seeing a lot of patience from this double bubble. They're not pushing in, but they've got to get close to utilize both that Winston and that Zarya. The only issue, EMF is just waiting for them to get close to swing that hammer. And now the immortality field from Moise is going to come out straight away, be eliminated from Goblin there. And all of a sudden, a great anti-nade coming out from a large bagel. Moise almost goes down, as does Enigma, but both of them are going to be able to live. The first elimination in favor here of our attacking team is going to be Guac, who's going to be able to crack this open for Boise, and Superman able to find that elimination onto Goblin, but Kel, full charge Zarya coming in hot, and the tank line for Boise State is just ripping Santa Cruz apart.
They do give up first capture right there, but they do that knowing they kind of have to. Santa Cruz comes out with the May, with the Brawl. They lock in that point, but as this comp, this mobile, and a comp that's able to adjust, picks you apart, finds some holes, and starts to find those picks slowly. And once Kel gets that charge and is able to walk in, tears a comp like this apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Just rips that comp to shreds there, and we see some great value coming out relatively early on from both sides. Like you said, we see 20% coming out from Santa Cruz, but unfortunately, they just can't follow up off of it. Now, eliminating Asu, that's going to be huge because that Rally and that Brigida are both offline. Kel trying to commit the grab to make up for that missing support, but no eliminations coming through for this team here in Boise. They are going to be taking a little bit of damage now. Ionic able to find Goblin as well. There goes Plato. We see Guac get a kill with that Primal Rage, but okay, maybe two. I was going to say it might be a little bit late, but as you find a second kill, you may be able to turn this around. Pretty much a Winston against the team, and Enigma going to get into that mech. Looks like we're going to see a 5 out of 6 on point, flipping back in favor of Santa Cruz.
But the Rally going to come out to
and the Nano
with the Winston. Yeah, the Winston is nanoed up, trying to find those picks, and a great fight right there. They never give up through that whole thing. They just kind of poke and prod. They find some picks, and then they hit the gas with those ultimates and absolutely wipe out Santa Cruz. Well played by Guac, and a great ult there from Asu, just to know that we can win this with what we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, they commit both support ults, which isn't the best play, but it's a good one at that because they are able to play, and they play a little bit patient. They focus up on what they need to do. They commit the Rally, they commit the Nano, and they kind of roll through Santa Cruz there. So Boise State looks a little bit rough for them for a moment, but they've already taken the lead once again in terms of percentage, and even one elimination onto Moises, who's maybe getting a little bit overzealous trying to take out Goblin, could be huge for them. We're going to see a wall coming out from Superman, perhaps a Blizzard out soon, but no, instead Ionic going to be committing that high noon. A phenomenal anti-nade coming out from Bagel once again. Ionic is able to pick up Guac, and the Blizzard's going to secure you the high ground, but the high ground is not exactly the point that you're fighting for. So as Goblin finds Superman now, and the pulse bomb coming out from Plato, a lot of ultimates. The Enigma goes for the bomb, but not going to find anything yet. A lot of ultimates being committed, and Boise still coming out on top here. This looks like they may be able to take another fight, and we see the beat being forced out from Louis here, and that's not what they're going to want. Enigma is able to find Asu, and we saw this happen once. We saw it flip back in favor of Santa Cruz, and then a lot of patience from Boise State kept them alive.
And patience is the game right now. It seems like Santa Cruz doesn't have a lot of it. They blow all of their ults just about except for the window, and they're not able to take that fight. Ticking over to almost 100% here, and Guac is going to have the Primal Rage to try to keep them away. A big ping coming onto the Zarya, trying to make something happen there, but it's looking like they're going to get shut down quickly. EMF goes down to the whip.
Yeah, losing your main tank there, not going to be a good look. Moises is able to find Goblin, but already Asu with 2 kills. Here comes another Primal Rage. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a grab here in a second as well. The Nano from Bagel onto Kel, ripping a third of the team apart in the back line, make it half as they finish picking up this elimination here, and that is just a phenomenal turnaround in favor of Boise State.
Yeah, that's the thing with these kinds of comps is you're so flexible, you can kind of just walk around, and when it's time to hit the gas, you do just hit the gas, and it just cleans up a Brawl comp, because Brawl just sits there. It's a comp where when you run it, if you are playing against Dive, you don't know what you're supposed to do. Ryan can not interact with any of these characters, Echo, Tracer, all of that, but as of right now, it's looking like they're going to swap to a Brawl Mirror here. Plato moving on over to the Reaper, Goblin on the Sombra, and Guac on the Rhine. I was ready for some Wrecking Ball here, man. I was hoping to see it on all maps. That's what I showed up to see. But you gotta love seeing the flexibility of all these guys. It's looking like everybody on both of these teams is exceptionally flexible, but that is what you would expect from GM players.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, as nice as it would have been to see them, unfortunately, we don't always get to see the heroes we want. I was really looking forward to that Bastion, but I love me some Sombra. I love me some Reinhardt. I'm a Reinhardt player myself, so I'm stoked to see this Brawl matchup coming out here, and both choosing to go for the Diva rather than the Zarya, most likely to be eating those fire strikes that are going to be coming out from the Reinhardts, and then Immortality Field already coming out from Asu. Going to keep the team alive for just a moment, but nobody had really fallen low quite yet, so possibly a bit of an overcommitment early on. We're going to hear the charge come out into the wall. EMF going to get hacked for their efforts, and Kel going to be the first one to lose that mech. It looks like Plato is going to be taken out by Superman, flipping things in favor of Santa Cruz just for a moment, and Asu already with that Ant Matrix online. Here it comes, but Guac taken out by Superman all the same, and that Ant Matrix pretty much down the drain here.
Yeah, it's a big window, but it's not really looking at anything right now. They're just going to break LOS of that, and Santa Cruz is going to take first point once again, but a little more decisively. They're able to wipe out Boise State right there, and probably showing that they're going to be a little bit better on these Brawl comps. If you're going to force Brawl on a map that seems a little more dive favored, you're going to come out and probably show up on the Brawl comp, and you've got the Mei, who already has a Mei freeze here.
Yeah, that's going to be huge to get that Blizzard back online. Here comes the Ant Matrix from Moises. So now Asu probably wishes they had their Ant Matrix online to counter this out. Goblin as well, 70% of that EMP, but you're getting close to a third already confirmed now through this game. So you want to get that EMP online a little bit faster. You want to go out of your way. You want to hack that Diva. You want to be getting this damage. And Guac goes for the kill, but he's going to get frozen up. Actually was able to block the Shatter just barely. Immortality Field keeping this Ryan alive and actually going to win that firefight up against EMF there. A large Bagel is able to find Luis, and now Ionic trying to make it happen, but Bagel in the back line all over again, picking up that kill. Enigma the next to fall. That's a 3K for the Lucio.
Yeah, and great support there from Asu, able to keep up his Ryan. Guac somehow manages to, in like one frame, block that Shatter before he freezes. Maybe a bit of jumping the gun there from EMF, right? But Asu with a big Immortality Field, keeping the heals on him. I thought there was no way he was going to survive through that Mei freeze. And a good time to take the point for Boise State right now.
Absolutely. They've got the EMP, they've got the High Noon, and they've got another Ant Matrix online here, but they want to get this EMP in within the next 10 seconds or so because Luis is very close to that beat, and that can cancel things out. But here comes the bomb. I don't think EMP is going to be coming out now. They want to make sure that bomb doesn't kill anybody. And now Plato with the High Noon finds the support line. Okay, a very high-risk, high-reward play coming out there, but as Athena always says, it is going to be that team kill there. The Boise State, they lose that first fight. They give up 54%, but they come out swinging again on the second attempt.
Yeah, and now they have that EMP Diva Bomb combo. It's one of the most difficult things to answer when you're a Reinhardt, because you got to lead your team in. You got to go through some open spaces. At some point, they're going to take the closed space because I think they know that it's going to happen. But either way, this EMP bomb is going to be huge. EMP goes in with the pin, finds the Mei early, and Boise State trucking right through Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Guac in particular just ripping through Santa Cruz. They're able to find 4 kills with that great EMP from Goblin. They don't even need the bomb. That was just a phenomenal turnaround there. And Kel gets to hold on to that ult. We're now approaching about 75%, which is usually when things turn into that last fight scenario. Santa Cruz, they've got 2 ultimates online. EMF about to come online with that Shatter as well. They've got to make these big ultimates or they're going to lose Ilios here.
Yeah, I mean, EMP pin, it's a pretty good little combo, right? I think most Brian players would say, yeah, that should be the only combo, of course. But still, now they have Shatter Bomb, another great combo. Turn the Ryan around. He doesn't have Zarya bubbles to help him out. He's just going to have to find corners. High Noon coming out with the shield in front of it. Just going to have to stand down Boise State here with this.
Oh.
Not going to find anything. Maybe break a shield or two. Bomb coming out. Shatter trying to locate. Big beat. Going to keep absolutely everybody up on Santa Cruz. And a counter beat coming out from Boise State. So much happening on this.
That was so many biffed ultimates in simultaneous. Both the Shatters hit nothing. The Amp Matrix hit nothing. The Bomb hit nothing. Nobody went down to 4 ultimates there. And then all of a sudden, Boise, they go, okay, we used them. Didn't work. We'll just win normally. We'll win a dry fight. Who cares about ultimates? So they come through. They rip Santa Cruz to shreds in that final fight. But that's probably the most ultimates I've seen used where nobody goes down. That was 4 back-to-back super aggressive ults and 0 people died.
Yeah, a lot of good support ults there from the beat drops to kind of keep everybody going. Blocked Shatters Guac here. Gonna be the pin EMP. We love to see it. Just absolutely finds everybody. Oh, and the composure not to just lay the Shatter down, even though you know you have the fight won. They should know not to do it sometimes just for the alpha play. You kind of want to see him just lay it down after the pin. But a good round there from Boise State. A bit dominant, but as I saw from Control on my last game that I casted, it's never the decider. It's a weird game mode. It's a lot different. You don't have to like continuously be fighting. You keep the map geometry keeps changing as you go through the map. As you keep winning or losing fights, the map geometry changes, and maybe it starts to favor you or not favor you. But with that, you go to one point, you keep fighting the same stuff over and over and over again. And if you're good at that kind of a play style, you tend to dominate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely some great value coming out with, like you said, that aggressive play style. You're able to dominate. And as I always say, you touched on this a little bit, Control very rarely determines the pacing of the rest of the matchup because it is a map type unlike any other, where everybody's kind of fighting for the same point in simultaneous. They're all equidistant away from the point and that main focus. But all in all, you know, things definitely working out much better for Boise there. Santa Cruz, you know, they've come into this undefeated tonight, but they're going to have to step up their game a little bit if they want to keep that going.
Yeah, but you know, looking at this game right now, I mean, what are we going to be going to? Eichenwald. That's going to be a good dive map, and Boise State showed that they like to play the Winston. And as I was talking about in my last match, Winston seems to dominate on these high ground maps. And if you don't seem to favor that pick, I would imagine Santa Cruz can pull it out. It's EMF. It says he's able to play Winston as one of his better characters, but if you force Ryan the whole way through and still don't pull it out, you wonder if they're going to try to switch up the tempo of their playstyle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Reinhardt gets some great value on those first and third points in particular, but moving in and around the castle, Winston and D.Va both can really start to utilize that point and the architecture of what's built around them to utilize that high ground and get aggressive, from that high ground and make things a little bit more difficult, force the team to defend from multiple angles rather than from directly in front of them or just behind them. The D.Va and the Winston can both force a lot of change and adaptation coming out from the enemy team.
Yeah, I would say in that match that we saw a lot of composure from Boise State and a lot of things they did. I know I joked around about him not dropping the Shatter after pinning in, of course, but on that first point when they were running that double bubble, they would sort of go down in fights. They'd play slow, they'd play safe, still trying to get things done. And then even though they would be down members, they would have found a pick on the enemy team, and then they would try to take advantage. They'd go all in on something together and make a fight happen, and then they would win dominantly. They looked so good on that double bubble play, and I'm interested to see if both teams do this play in a mirror, what it'll look like from Boise State.
Yeah, a mirror would definitely be interesting. I see a lot of value coming out from Boise State when they run that Ryan D.Va, but we didn't see as much. You know, we obviously saw Santa Cruz lose that mirror matchup. They were not able to win that Ruins map on Ilios just moments ago, so we have to see if they go into that same mirror matchup. Either the tank line's got to step things up a little bit, or perhaps they need to force something else. They need to be winning a part of the mirror matchup, which is, of course, easier said than done. But now, with a different DPS lineup, we're going to have to see who runs what. And Goblin, I mean, I would love to see Junkrat come out. Even though I'm a tank player, Junkrat is my favorite character in the game. I love seeing him. I love playing him. So I would love to see a little bit of that here on Eichenwald.
Yeah, he's a very funny hero, of course. Just kind of a crazy Australian, just sending those mines in through choke. Doesn't have to do a whole lot all the time, but sometimes when you see these top Junkrats, they have a lot more tech down. They're good when they're in the air. They can get the one-shot combo onto the enemy DPS. And at the end of the day, if they're not doing that, they're just providing a lot of spam damage onto the enemy Ryan. The enemy Ryan on this one is going to be EMF, and I'm sure he's not going to love to see that. Well, as I say it, Goblin, going to be swapping over to the Mei. I like that pick actually a lot more, especially when you're going up into your own Mei on the enemy side.
Yeah, and like you were about to say, EMF isn't going to be excited to see a Junk. He may be even less excited to see a Mei online, because when Mei is around, Reinhardt just plays a big old rectangle and not much else, and that is no fun for any of the Reinhardt players. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that here, but these kind of fights come down to who's going to get that first elimination. This is all of a sudden a mirror matchup, same 6 heroes on both sides, and it's going to come down to who gets that first kill. Kel almost losing their mech, but just really going to be able to survive. Both immortality fields commit. Here comes a great charge, but oh, what a phenomenal block from Goblin there. Goes into that ice form just in time to prevent that charge from coming through. But Glock unfortunately will not stay alive. Enigma finds one, Ionic finds another, and Plato gets an exit frag onto that Baptiste, but as Superman finds Bagel, it's time for Boise to get out of there.
It's a good little pick onto Moises there. It's going to make it... Oh, and a D-Mech onto the Diva. That's actually really good for Plato, because now they're not going to have the Diva Matrix to help out EMF on the defense. Now they're going to be able to rush in quickly, and they're going to have the, what is it called? The window online, and you're not going to be able to eat any of that damage.
Yeah, and like you said, they got the Diva out of mech, which is almost better than killing her, because now she has to farm that mech back up. She can't just return in full swing. The Amp Matrix coming out super early on is going to help them find Bagel here, so it's going to get value. We're going to see Plato with another incredibly cheeky High Noon, just running it down main and committing that High Noon early on. Looks like it was a bit of a bait, and a phenomenal double shatter there is going to be able to get them stuck in the Blizzard, but the Amp Matrix may, unfortunately, will not be able to keep Asu and Guac alive. Kel going to lose that mech. Second time around, nearly 2 minutes off the clock, and Boise, they get taken out here without much of a sweat coming out from Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Santa Cruz showing more than a sign of life right now. They do invest a lot of their ultimates. Goblin is going to be having that Mei ult online. Shatter very close to being online. And the only thing to counter it is going to be the beat drop. And it's hard to counter a Mei freeze with beat drop. It's better to counter it with a thing like just speed, which isn't even an ultimate.
Right. It's, yeah, like you said, it's probably better to just counter it with that speed. You don't want to be overcommitting to anything, because then you're at risk of losing the fight. And as the Blizzard comes out from Goblin, they may give their life for the cause, but no, the counter pin is actually going to get EMF taken out in the Blizzard there, forcing the beat from Lewis now. And it's going to be that immortality field gone as well. So all of a sudden, everybody at Santa Cruz has become so unbelievably destructible. And now the bomb going to be coming out from Enigma, trying to clean something up, but can't find anything quite yet. Guac committing a shatter onto none. And now the bomb from Kel inside the bar here isn't going to be able to find anything either. Lewis going to be the next to fall in EMF, returning to the fight from the high ground as Plato finds Moises. It's going to be no supports online for Santa Cruz. They may have to give this fight up as they are just down in the numbers. We're going to see a great pin coming through from Guac as well. Kel finds Ionic, Superman gone, EMF gone, and it takes nearly 3 minutes, but Boise is able to cap this first point, and the Diva gets staggered, but that hardly matters as she will get forced back into the later spawn anyway.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try to keep that Diva around a little bit longer, but if they did, Enigma would have walked to the cart and forced them to have to do the deed of killing her. So either way, they're going to get that bit of a stagger that they would like to see. And now they're going to be going into the fight with 2 support ults and a High Noon.
The High Noon could definitely get some great value from the high ground, but this is also where we talked about the Divas. They're really going to get their time to shine. They get to utilize the high ground a little bit more than we may expect, and it looks like they're not going to be choosing any high ground quite yet, as all of Boise is going to be rotating up and around. Looks like Goblin may have fallen off the stairs for a moment, but they're going to be going into the lower form of the high ground. Plato committing a High Noon, getting walled off right away, and they might be able to break it in time. It looks maybe, no, unfortunately not able to get any elimination. Here comes a High Noon from Ionic, taken out. Here's a beat from Large Bagel. Here's a Blizzard from Superman, and the only person to fall is still going to be Ionic. Guac, the next to go. EMF does hit that shatter, and Goblin picks up that Baptiste, the main support gone for Santa Cruz. Once again, they've got to be more careful now than ever. Enigma is able to find Plato. It's going to be a 4v4, but Guac just holding on to that shatter, waiting for the opportunity to use it.
I love how these teams play. I love how these high-level teams play the video game, because they don't care about necessarily the cart. Of course, that's what the game mode is based around. But at the end of the day, it's about winning the fight so that you can move the cart. And at a certain point, Boise was looking like they were on the defender's side, and Santa Cruz had gone to the attacker's side, and the cart started to move while the fight was happening. It was very confusing to look at. I was like, wait, am I confusing something? No, of course not. They just know how to play this game, and they make a big rotation through the castle. I love to see it, but now Goblin going to be having another Mayfreeze online, and 2 tank ults are going to be getting ready to be flown in there.
Yeah, Blizzard Bomb could be a terrifying combo, as well as Shatter Bomb or Shatter Blizzard. All 3 of these ultimates can be mixed up in any type of way to get some great progress. We see on the side of Santa Cruz, they've got a Diva with her mech, and that she's got her bomb online as well. But now we hear another High Noon come out. Plato able to get some great value. Kel committing a bomb pretty deep into the back line, probably just trying to make some space. Enigma going to be forced out of mech in the back line by Asu, going to pay the price of their life for it there. Asu able to find Superman as well. A bit of a double kill here from the Baptiste. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock, moving into Castle here. These Reinhardts, this is their time to shine.
You know, I feel like everything I've talked about leading into these maps has been absolutely wrong. In the last game I cast, I felt like I was pretty on the nose. It's all Reinhardt. He's been getting played from streams you might watch from your favorite pro gamers. And a lot of Reinhardt's getting played. The window comes out here, going to push everybody back. They try to hit the Mei wall, don't quite find it like they wanted to, but they're going to step off and push off Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State going to be forced into their own back line just a little bit. Goblin now getting onto that Junkrat. Can't wait to see it. This is arguably one of the best points for Junkrat to play in the entire game. Enigma going to be committing a bomb deep in the back line. No eliminations coming out from that, and Goblin picks up Ionic, a 5v6 in favor of Boise State, trying to find the value they want. As Plato finds EMF, that value gets even larger. There goes the Immortality Field. Here's the forced beat from Luis, trying to keep anybody alive, and unfortunately Enigma taken out as well. Goblin already with the triple kill here on the Junkrat. It's been probably 30-40 seconds, and that Rip Tire's already available.
Yeah, I mean, with these tight chokes and corners, you break the Rhine shield and it's all damage for the Junkrat. A little bit of Diva Matrix to try to gobble some of that up, but now the Tire is going to be what's going to try to put the exclamation point on this fight. High Noon maybe coming from the high ground, or Plato putting it out there, zoning everybody away. Mayfreeze finds nothing. Whew.
Yeah, the Tire also finds nothing, and Plato so aggressive with these high noons. Like, does not flank, does not wait for an opportunity, just pops it on cooldown, and Kel gets a double kill with the mech on the lamp, on the chandelier. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but if they did, that is mighty impressive.
They could have. I liked how they went for the little bait play. They boosted back into their team and then instantly 180'd and chucked it. Just no look, a little no look Diva bomb play to put the icing on the cake right there. But pretty good time. You're not too disappointed if you're Santa Cruz. A minute 38. It's not like you got steamrolled. You played the game. You you know, you won some fights. You made it difficult for Boise State to make it there, but they make it with a minute 38, which is a considerable time back. You always want to get over a minute on these, because if you're able to bring Santa Cruz down to 0 seconds, they will not get a chance to attack like in our last game.
Yeah, they will not get the chance to attack. Like you said, they want to have that opportunity. They want to get some things turned around in their favor. But if Boise is able to take this away, even though we play all 3 maps, you know, for the differential, they'll still take the victory here today, and that's going to force Santa Cruz into their first loss so far.
Which is always a bit demoralizing. You don't want to, and if you're going to lose your first one, you don't want to see it go 2-0, but this game is far from over right now, because Santa Cruz looked really good on that first point, and that's what they're going to be attacking, obviously, here first on the attack. So if they can get a bit of a steamroll on this first point, it's going to open up all kinds of opportunities to get a larger time bank than Boise State. But, no, Goblin, I think he's already back right now. He is on that Torbjorn that we talked about for about 5 minutes. Finally getting to see it here. Map 2 on the second round. So excited to see that. No hit scan though, which is a bit interesting from any team at this high of a level.
Yeah, they've definitely got no hit scan. Maybe they're relying a little bit more on that turret than they are on one of the players to be that hit scan. And like you said, Santa Cruz looked great on this first point earlier on Eichenwald, so hopefully they're able to look just as good. Superman goes for a wall early on, but EMF actually gets caught on the wrong side of it and is going to get ripped apart before Superman can even realize that it has happened to drop the wall. Immortality Field from that Baptiste is going to be gone. Half a minute off the clock, and already Superman gone as well. Santa Cruz, they started strong. They get taken out, just a little bit of a faulty wall coming out from Superman, and now, you know, Boise, they get to hold on to this defense a little bit longer.
Yeah, they're all about halfway to their ultimates right now. They're winning the ultimate race by quite a bit. Moises is the only one that seems to be ahead in the alt race to his counterpart. But they're going to be staging in here and going for the left side, no, right side push.
A bit of a double bait there. Yeah, they go for the left, they go to the right, then they wall off the right, drop it, and rush through. So a bit of an aggressive play coming through, and it may pay off as Plato has fallen, but Ionic now taken out as well, and McCree may take a little bit longer to return. He only has the roll every, I think, 8 seconds there for mobility, so he needs to keep that on the back pocket. But as EMF finds Glock, Bagel taken out by Superman. The aggression now coming out from Santa Cruz is exactly what they needed in this moment. It takes them about a minute and a half to really start to win this fight, but it looks like they may have finally been able to crack this open faster than Boise was able to.
You can tell Guac made a call right there. He saw Ionic go off to the left or his right, and he calls to the speed. They all go in on him. They take him out immediately, and then from there on out, they get very split. The BAP starts to push back. Ryan keeps going in onto Superman, and then everything kind of falls apart for them. They have a good engage, but they can't recover from that engage as a team and then keep on fighting.
Yeah, they wanted to recover from that, and they unfortunately just were not able to. We now see a lot of ultimates, the Molten Core and the grab coming out from both sides. Goblin not able to hit the Molten Core because I think Plato's wall, actually, so his own maze wall got in the way of that Molten Core, and the Shatter now coming out, able to just hit 2. It's going to be Ionic and Superman. The DPS lineup all of a sudden going to be gone for Santa Cruz, but the cart has been slowly but surely pushing itself this whole time. Luis just hanging out on cart, got it all the way around the first and second corner.
Yeah, grab Molten Core is generally a combo you like to see, but Torb is on one team, and Enigma on Zarya is on the other team. Goblin using that to keep Boise State up. Nobody can push into that grab. They have an immortality down as well that nobody's able to push and kill. Usually you just send your Rhine in there to swing, but when there's a lake of lava, there's not much EMF can really do.
Yeah, there's really not much that EMF could have done there. We hear the high noon coming out from Ionic, but it's going to be walled off from Plato, giving them just enough time to get back up onto that high ground and not worry about being taken out by that one-shot ability, that ultimate. We see a Blizzard online on both sides, and speaking of the devil, here comes the Blizzard out from EMF. A great bubble from Enigma now on that Zarya, able to keep them alive, and the counter Blizzard coming out from Superman there, but Superman still will pay the price of their life being taken out. Ionic and Luis joining them, EMF not that far behind. Santa Cruz have got 3.5 minutes, but with 2 ultimates committed to that last fight and very little progress, they're really going to have to change something up here if they want to succeed on Eichenwald.
And they clean up their decisiveness a little bit there. How they like to drop was very clean. They go somewhere, they do it as a team, and then they stay together for the remaining part of the fight. And if they're able to do that, it's going to be very difficult to dislodge this team. They're going to have to rotate through the castle. They don't have a diva of their own right now to try to take the high ground and mitigate the damage coming down onto them.
Yeah, they definitely want to try to eat any kind of damage, and like you said, without a diva, that's pretty much impossible to do. Sigma's able to eat up a little bit here and there, but they don't have one of those either. It's going to be that Rhine and that Zarya. Another wall into Shatter mess up there. We see a lot of walls coming out. Kel committing that bomb, not able to find anything. The beat coming out from Luis here, trying to keep the team up. Enigma has that grab as well. Here comes the Ant Matrix. Squawk is going to be able to find that Baptiste as well, so Santa Cruz losing their main support this late into the fight cannot be good for them. They may have to commit the grab to make up for it, but it's Asus taken out by Superman. All of a sudden, things are going to be tied up all over again. We're going to hear another Blizzard coming out from Plato as well. The beat from Bagel trying to keep the team alive. EMF is gone. Ionic is gone, and Enigma now committing a grab into a lost fight. They are going to want that ultimate back.
That is going to put a bit of a damper on the push here. You want to use that Graviton Surge to win the fight, and you're not quite able to do it right there. I wonder if he's going to swap. Maybe that was a swap grab. I'm not entirely sure. It was. Enigma going to be going over to the Diva. So not as bad that you don't get the value you want, because if you die with that ultimate, then you feel like you got to come back out and use it. Maybe you use it and you get a couple picks, you can come into a cleaner fight. So not too bad of a play by Enigma, switching over to what I think he probably should have been on once they got the point 2. Goblin finds Ionic right away, and that's going to be another tough fight here for Santa Cruz.
Yeah, and there goes their Baptiste, there goes their Diva. That's not going to be a fight for Santa Cruz. They lose 3 in a row there, and Boise just unfortunately able to rip them apart. 1:40 left on the clock. They've got a high noon. They almost have another Blizzard, but they are running out of time. They're going to start getting into what could be their last fight potential.
Yeah, Boise State just coming right back up to this high ground. Torb turrets up here. Everybody's up here. And it just forces Santa Cruz to have to make the same rotations. They either have to go through the castle or they have to go through the other side of the stairs. No matter what they do, they kind of have this long road to go. And as they take this long road, there's going to be a lot of things that can happen to them.
See, they go for this push again, but just a wall from Plato ruins it. Like, that's all that it takes. It's the second time they've made that attempt, and it's just not going to work in their favor.
Yeah, that was a brutal wall. It stops the enemy. It stops Santa Cruz from pushing through there, and then they have the window to set up for an easy little combo right there. So much damage when the fire strike goes through the window, and when everybody's trying to push in one direction and they're all bunched up on that wall they weren't expecting. It's a great little combo. It's almost like a Graviton Surge, but not really.
Yeah, no, as a, they were all kind of stuck up in that corner. Like you said, they were all bunched up, and as, everybody's favorite cowboy likes to say, it's like shooting fish in a barrel at that point, because they have nowhere to go. The wall's in the way, and they all start to panic and try to run back across an open street, so there's nowhere for them to hide. There's no buildings to protect them, and here comes a pretty late bomb from Kel. I'm not sure that's going to get any value. Yeah, just a little bit too high. Ionic committing a high noon just to keep them on the high ground for a moment, and Enigma going to overcommit just a little bit, going to be able to drop back down. The high noon is going to be worn out. Superman with the Blizzard as well, so I think this should be a one fight for Santa Cruz. They just need to get a little bit closer. They need to commit Blizzard onto the point, and then they can take it from there. But as the 5-man Shatter comes out, a 5-man for Glock and a 4-man for EMF, so almost everybody taken down. Here's that Blizzard I mentioned. The Molten Core going to be coming in next, and unfortunately the Blizzard not going to be able to make it, so Plato is going to keep the team alive with that. Superman not really getting to commit a Blizzard of their own. A rather convincing win for Boise State. Santa Cruz taking their first L of the season so far.
Yeah, Boise State remaining dominant right here. They want to come out with another 3-0 and make a statement on this game. They want to keep the 3-0 streak kind of going. Even though they've only dropped one map, this would be a game where you'd expect them to drop a map, maybe more. And that's
Right.
right now it's 2-0. Wow, look at these shots from Torb, laying them into him. Everybody's laying down from that massive shatter. That was a crazy little play right there.
No,
Shatter's
definitely
going
was.
both ways. No shatter gets stunned. That's what always happens to me when I play Ryan and I try to shatter waves. I get stunned out of it, and I don't get any value. So I wasn't sure how that one was going to go when it laid out like that.
Yeah, no, you very rarely see Earth Shatters like that where both Ryans actually get the entire shatter off. Like you said, more often than not, one of them gets interrupted before they're able to get the ultimate, but that was a very small window available for both of those Reinhardts to not only both get their shatters off, but then they both get shattered as well. So that is kind of crazy to see that. I think Guac had 5, and I believe EMF had 4. So 9 players down out of 12. That leaves 3 people standing, which is kind of crazy to consider that for a brief moment we experienced some silence there. But we're going to be moving into our third and final map, which I believe is going to be Gibraltar.
Yes, it will be Gibraltar. And I'd imagine this is where we would see, again, the double bubble stuff. But I'm just about done trying to predict what these teams are going to play because I have missed the mark almost every single time. This does seem like a map where if you have a Wrecking Ball player, it would be a great time to pull him out. Guac was amazing on the Winston when he had it out. So I'd like to see something like that again, maybe a double bubble. Maybe you go for the Winston Diva and kind of switch this whole thing up. But as Boise State showed, you can run Brawl on any map, any high ground, any set of stairs. You can walk up it just as easily as you can jump to it. So I'm gonna have to see what they actually pull out.
Yeah, and Watchpoint Gibraltar in particular was pretty much just a Winston Diva map for a really long time. That was kind of the utilization, the comfortability we saw from a lot of teams, and then Wrecking Ball came out. So those dive-esque heroes, rather, are a little bit more comfortable in the tank line. We usually see some Widowmaker here, more on the defense than the offense, especially when you get into that second point. And then the supports, it's pretty much just whoever falls into meta at the time. Ana is a little bit more popular, at least from the games that I've been a part of. You know, we see Ana a little bit more. Baptiste, kind of a given, but again, it's just really comes down to comfortability or perhaps what's in the meta. I really hope we see the double bubble again because it's been working super well. Like you said, Guac was just a beast on that Winston earlier today, and I would love to see that make a little bit of a repeat here in our third and final map between Boise State and Santa Cruz.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to see that map when you have those brawl matchups because there's so many big ultimates that come out that need an immortality field. So many like stun type of ultimates like May freeze grab, maybe bomb, shatter, stuff like that. And when you run a hard engage comp with a Winston, you want to run that Brig Ana. Usually you're in a mirror, so you have the Brig Ana so that they can kind of stay up in the back line, and then you can nano boost your Winston and send him in on the hard engage to try to clean up the enemy team's supports, which will be very hard to do because usually it's a Brig Ana to boot on the other side.
Right, and jumping into a Brigida is, never really a good plan. Nobody likes playing against a Brig, and it can cost you your entire life, so they want to keep that in mind as well. You want to make sure you're not overcommitting into a Brig, because her shield bash only lasts for a second, but it feels like an eternity every time, so definitely not something I enjoy being hit by.
Yeah, and then everything she does, because she has the AoE heals, which Winston has AoE damage, so if everyone gets hit with a nade, Inspire is up from the Brigida. It's really hard to focus anything down as just a Winston. You really need the team to come through and help you focus one isolated target down. And then on top of that, she has the whip shot, which can just boop you away. And when Winston's out of Tesla range, you just don't really know what you're doing because you got to wait for another jump or you got to walk at him slowly. It can be a whole nightmare. So Brig has a lot of utility that she can use, and it's looking like both teams are going to opt for that exact comp finally right once on the night here for the Boise State versus Santa Cruz game with the double bubble. Goblin is on Symmetra, but I cannot imagine that is what we are going to see.
Yeah, they're on the offense, so that feels even more unlikely. But from what I've seen from Goblin in the short time we've spent together, I for whatever reason I don't know if I'd be too surprised. But like you said, I'd expect maybe some kind of weird teleport strat, and then they just go back and swap. But it looks like they may be sticking out of the Symmetra for just a moment, the high ground advantage, and yeah, it looks like they're going to be TPing. I'm not actually sure where that teleporter is, but they're going to be committing in. They're going to be using the teleporter, and then yeah, there we go. Goblin just pops back over to the Tracer. So a weird strat here on Gibraltar, but a strat nonetheless.
I like that though because it gets your Ana right to the high ground where she wants to be, and she doesn't have to do the long walk by herself that maybe a dive could isolate and target. Ionic's gonna fall though here first to Kel.
Yeah, Ionic got to be the first one taken out. And you talked about earlier the versatility of Briggs' whip shot and how important it's going to be against a Winston. We just saw that kind of in the flesh. We see it again right here as Guac is going to be whip shot by Lewis both times he leaps into the fight. So this Winston getting perhaps half of the value of normal.
Yeah, it's very difficult too as the Winston. How do you really dodge that? If the Briggs hitting the whip, she's hitting the whip, and it's on a 4-second cooldown, so it's always up. You can't really wait for it to go because they're only going to save it for you. Winston's diving on each side, trying to find anything. Ionic's kind of gets singled out by Kel once again. That beam finding everything. Plato finds Moses, and now it's looking like Boise State is starting to get a bit of a foothold onto this first point.
Yeah, looks like Boise State is going to be getting that foothold and with relative ease as well. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left. Now, this is, I think, the only point where I wouldn't be too surprised to see maybe we swap from a Zarya to a Diva, but then you don't really want to give up the ult charge in particular because Zarya could be just as viable on the third point, so we may just see them both kind of stick to that Zarya. But I feel like this is kind of the moment to swap if you're looking for it. And now, I mean, we see Plato going up against Ionic. The Ashe versus the Echo definitely seems to be ending in favor of our Ashe so far, as we see Goblin kind of overcommit a little bit of a pulse bomb and still find a kill off the back of it.
Yeah, and even Kel's been finding the Echo even a little bit more. Goblin finds 2 right there. Ionic just cannot find a spot to stand on this map. Echo is such a good character. Brig can heal you from long ranges, but Ionic just can't find a spot to stand without getting targeted.
Yeah, Ionic just cannot find a leg to stand on here, being taken out over and over. And, you know, playing one of those winged characters against a hit scan, if the hit scan's good enough, you're going to be taken out like that. So it's definitely something we're pretty used to. And just rolling through this second point, 0.3 meters away from capping the second point. And as 2 eliminations come through, you've got a nanoed Winston, you've got a nanoed Zarya, a primaling Winston. So perhaps a little bit of an ultimate overcommitment there coming out from the side of Boise, but still 5.5 minutes to cap third point. You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and you just wonder if there's maybe a bit of a mental boom going on the side of Santa Cruz right now. They just cannot. Anything they do is just getting shut down, so it's really hard to build on anything. On all the other maps, they would win fights. They kept it close. Pulse bomb coming out onto Lewis, and everything is just staggers. They just keep going in and in. And it's been a lonely ride for Asu so far this whole time. He's just kind of sitting back while his team just sends it all the way in there.
Yeah, Asu playing that Brig, waving to his teammates so far out in the distance. There has the rally online for when they need it, but other than that, playing a very patient game, riding the cart, and it's working all the same. The rest of the team just standing in the spawn of the defending team, and we see the nanoed Winston also in Primal, the double grab is going to be coming out as well, and Enigma taking themselves out with that ult fire. Superman and this Ana trying to clean up after it. Guac is going to find Superman in the mix-up, who's now finally swapped onto an Ashe of their own, but now one Brig takes out another. This may be the first time Boise really gets their train stopped.
Yeah, they are going to get slowed down right there in the moral support, whichever way you want to call it, from Asu on the point, whether it's with healing or saying hello. It will get shut down. It seemed to be pushing Boise all the way through now, but Santa Cruz used every ult they had. They had their ults. They invested them. They needed to put a stop to it. But now they're taking the fight that they wanted to. It's on their playing field. They're all back. And as they get engaged into, they take a good proactive fight very quickly.
Yeah, it takes about 7 minutes, but they are finally able to get that figured out, and they're able to really turn a fight around in their favor. They use a lot of ultimates to do it. They're already halfway to a couple. The Nano almost online as well, but the issue is you might not have time to farm those, as they're going to be coming into the Primal Rage, a Nano Boost, a Bob, and a Pulse Bomb. So this is a lot of damage coming out very quickly from Boise.
Yeah, absolutely, and tons of ults online here from Boise as well. The Nano Winston going into the back line. Pulse Bomb finds EMF. That is not fun for a monkey. But on the other side, Guac gets slept up and woken up. And now he's going to use the Primal Rage in the spawn. And Boise State is doing what they do best. And that is tearing through Santa Cruz, the bomb, just to kind of point everybody away to where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, like you said, doing what they've done best so far tonight, just ripping Santa Cruz apart, just player by player. It has been a phenomenal look from them so far, and they don't finish with as much time as we may have expected there after losing that one fight on third point. But 325 on Gibraltar, that is definitely that's something to write home about. That's a pretty high time bank for a map like this one.
It is a high time bank, but if you want to go back to one of our earlier games here on NECC, both teams were able to cap with around 2 to 3 minutes. So with a 9-second discrepancy. So who knows? Santa Cruz might have a similar attack strat in the pocket. They might have a similar, startup. And if you can get something rolling on these payload maps, it can just keep on rolling and rolling and rolling, as it did for Boise State here.
Yeah, Boise State, they want to try to come out maybe a little bit stronger on the defense. Their offense was mighty strong, but now they really want to make sure they do not give the opposing team any opportunity to get, maybe even first point. Maybe they cap all three and they like to full hold first. And I'm honestly surprised and a wee bit heartbroken because I feel like if Goblin wanted an opportunity to play Bastion, this is the closest they're going to get, but they're going to go for that May instead.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing any Bastion, which is unfortunate, but at the very least, it makes a lot of sense. Going for this May, it's so funny. Both teams, they run double bubble back at each other. Attack and defenders both run it. And now both sides are going to go for the brawl as if they know the other team is going to run it. And Boise State looked absolutely electric on Eichenwald when they played this comp.
Yeah, they really did. Also, something of note is they also went for that weird sim TP strat to get to the high ground right away. So we saw that coming out from both teams. A little bit of a counter charge now. Guac and EMF both getting incredibly close to dying, but it's going to be EMF as the first to fall. Goblin with the headshot there thanks to the help of the team. Going to be able to get that Doom, or that Reinhardt offline. Now Superman on the Doomfist. Going to find out the hard way that Plato is already on that Sombra, but now, just kidding. Okay, Doom takes Plato out before the hack can come through, and the Baptiste coming out from the side of Santa Cruz is doing a phenomenal job finding a triple kill in the mix, and that's a technical team kill.
Yeah, that was uproarious. I mean, dude, I love seeing Doomfist. He just puts an absolute staple in the enemy team. He's just so forceful. He can get shut down. There's so many things that can answer him, but if he can get some of those passive shields going from hitting abilities, he can become so tanky, and he can also find one-shot picks with that rocket punch.
Yeah, that rocket punch is insane. I also love to see Doomfist. I love those high velocity, just super fast characters in the game. And Goblin taking out one, Enigma gonna be gone as well. And Superman finds Kel right out of mech. We actually got the Diva kill before the D-mech thing, so that's how fast that Kel was just killed.
Yeah, that is a lightning fast kill here. And I do like what Boise State did. They went for that exceptionally close hold, right? They kind of get bodied on it, but now they get to hold right under this little canopy, right in the tunnel. And this is where Brawl wants to play. There's nothing to dive in here. What are you really going to do? You can poke from all the sides, but at the end of the day, the Cree's going to have to drop. Doom's going to have to get active, and you're going to have to go in and play with the boys.
Yeah, you're going to have to get in there, like you said, and play with the boys to really bring the heat. But Ant Matrix is going to be the first thing committed. Here comes a high noon from Ionic behind, but lucky for the side of Boise, they can just step into this tiny room and avoid the entire thing. So now the Blizzard coming out from Goblin, trying to flip the fight, almost taken out by that rocket punch, but not quite yet. Plato now with the EMP as well, trying to find some value, but not going to commit it either. Now it's going to be that Meteor Strike, probably in that small room to get some great value if they choose to commit in the back line. Not, oh, but a great Maywall from Goblin, and a 6-man EMP coming out from Plato here to rip things apart.
Wow, that was a great May wall. Comboed up with the Immortality. Ionic is going to find 2 on the exit, which is really good when you're held this close. If you can get any pick before you die, it means you're going to be able to come back out into a weaker Boise State. But this hold right now, this close hold, this is kind of Goats-esque right now. You just can't do anything to it. You can't dislodge this.
Yeah, you really cannot dislodge it. I think Goats-esque is a great way to describe this. This really is kind of a high-velocity, all-or-nothing. You know, it works until you lose a fight the same way that Goats may. But here comes a Shatter, unable to find anything. I think he was actually punched out of it by Superman there. He was stunned one way or another, and now Goblin taken out of the fight, and Kel gonna lose that mech right away. So now we've got a little bit more of a fight ending in favor of Santa Cruz. They've got to continue moving forward, though, because there's at least one more defensive hold coming out from Boise here. Only 60 seconds left on the clock.
I think I'm the king of the caster's curse. I say you can't dislodge it, and boom, there you go. They dislodge it, and they don't use an ult. They have all of their ults rolling into this next fight, and this could actually get a lot of headway and steam going for Santa Cruz right now. They have so much to cap this point and maybe get the next one.
Absolutely, like you said, if they can cap this one, maybe they can keep the momentum in their favor and cap the next. But here comes the beat from Bagel, the only ultimate they have online. Kel taken out of that mech right away by that Doomfist again, and Guac going to fall. So just when we think Boise's not going to let them get past first point, it looks like that finally may happen. The grab coming out from Enigma as well, but Asu already gone. The support lineup missing for Boise. They're going to have another EMP. They're going to have another Blizzard, but they're going to have to give up first point, unfortunately.
Yeah, well done there from both teams. Boise State putting on a fantastic hold. They're going to have to switch over to Guac on the Winston. I wonder if they kind of pulled that out because they knew the ults that they were going to be pushing into. Oh, and they get bad spawn right there, and they get absolutely cut down. Guac's going to have to take another trip there to the spawn door. But now we're going to see the Winston versus Winston once again, and it makes the most sense. This is one of the best Winston points in the game.
Absolute. You know, this definitely is a spot where Winston gets to shine. You get to utilize that kind of mid-high ground, and then on top of the carrier, they're that mega high ground, and Asu swapping the Brig as well. So now EMF going to get a little bit less values every time they dive in. It may go for that shield bash. But I mean, with the EMP Blizzard, as long as we see a little bit of patience coming out from Boise, they should be able to end this in favor of the EMP. Not going to be patient very much. EMP into Blizzard. Looks like the EMP is going to be able to hit 3. The Blizzard only going to be able to hit 2, but Luis is going to be taken out anyway. Bagel taken out by Ionic, and Enigma gone to that counterpart. Kel taking them out. Superman now with the uppercut onto Kel. So it's going to be a trade back and forth with both these teams. Plato just making it out with their lives, but Asu and Guac not as lucky. Superman finally going to fall, but it is a 3v2 here as the amplification matrix coming out from the side of Santa Cruz.
Puts down the Ant Matrix just to look at Goblin right now. Woo! They're going to cap that point, but that was an extremely scrappy fight. Superman coming in with the Superman punches into the enemy team, and he gets a ton of value, comes in with the big slam there of his ultimate, and just finds a ton of value. Doesn't get the Brig on contact, but when Brig tries to stun him, she's still so low from that ultimate that he puts her away rather quickly.
Yeah, that Brig going to be taken offline, like you said, with relative ease, but now she's going to be halfway to that rally as well. They're going to need that because even though it is impossible for Santa Cruz to finish with as much time, if they can finish with, 1:45 to 2 minutes, that's definitely not as large a time bank as a lot of people may think. A minute 25 is quite a long matchup, but, unfortunately, Guac being taken out is going to make this even better for Santa Cruz.
And now it's just a poking and prodding. Superman on over to the Hanzo. Grab comes out, B comes out so they can try to combo onto it. They're going to get a bunch of kills out of that. And now they're steamrolling to this last point. They still have 2 minutes to put this thing home. And Ash is up on the high ground, gets spotted out by Moses. Going to try to take a duel and win it handily. Gets a little help from his buddy Superman right there.
Yeah, Superman just doing a phenomenal job, swapping off the Doomfist onto the Hanzo, but still not missing a shot. Already able to find 2 eliminations in this fight. This is looking like it may be a guaranteed extra rounds unless Boise is really able to turn things in their favor, but they've got no ultimates to do it. They don't have the numbers. They've got a rally, but Asu's already gone. Going to be taken offline there at EMF, finding a large bagel as well. The support lineup missing all over again, and Plato able to find Ionic. Goblin picks up another one, but Guac is gone. Plato is gone. It's going to come down to Goblin and how long they can stay alive as Kel is returning to the fight. The Immortality Field coming out from this Baptiste, keeping them alive. Goblin finds another. Here's another Ant Matrix, and the Immortality Field will be gone. Asu returning to the fight as Lucio. Kel just crouching on the other side of the cart, trying to burn down this timer as much as they possibly can.
Walk onto that signature pick. He's on the wrecking ball like I had hoped. And Goblin was the winner of that fight. He kept getting picks. We both thought that one was over. You said it once. I thought it more than once, but Goblin stayed alive. He kept feathering the touch onto the point, and he kept finding picks. I think Santa Cruz got a little sloppy when trying to close that out and couldn't locate Goblin.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit overzealous, and like you said, they just couldn't keep an eye on the Tracer, right? She blinks, she moves so fast, and the recall takes her back about 3 seconds, so definitely moving around quite a bit, and then by the time you find the Tracer, the Zarya is already back, and then at that point, it is just funneling in the enemy team's favor, so Boise finally getting the opportunity to turn this back, just when we said, guaranteed extra rounds, maybe a bit of a caster curse coming from the both of us here tonight, because it's looking like Boise might be able to take this in these final moments.
We are not on fire with our predictions. It would be exact opposite of what we say. But I guess you're supposed to listen to us a little bit. So, Bob and Grav coming out here with the last 20 seconds should put a bit of an icing on the cake. EMF on over to this Reinhardt and speeding in, gets grabbed up. TNT
here's Nano.
Yeah,
this has got to be it. This has got to be it. That is 3 ultimates staring you in the face. 3 of your team already gone. Make it 5 as Enigma unfortunately takes themselves out with an alternate fire as the second to last elimination. As Athena reminds us once again, that was an official team kill. Boise State, they come through not only to keep their win streak alive, but to end Santa Cruz's win streak in a 3-0 nonetheless.
Yeah, that was pretty decisive. But what I love about these teams nonetheless is even though it looked like they were about to get full held, once they got it going, they almost put it in with like 2 minutes, but a player like Goblin is able to swing it back. Plato looking great here in the final play. Bob doing a lot of the work, but he's also hitting a lot of these shots here. Boise State looking electric here tonight.
Yeah, Boise State is looking electric indeed. They were able to give us a phenomenal job, and I'm not sure, but I would assume that we're going to be getting an interview with one of them in just a minute here, and I honestly can't wait to see who it is. Oh, just kidding. You know what? There is no interview here tonight, so psych, gotcha. Made you guys fall for April Fools, even though It's March 18th. So, okay, so yeah, it sounds like they've got something going on outside of their competition here tonight. So, no interview, unfortunately. But hey, we're not done with the night yet. Unfortunately, Neely will be leaving. He will be taking his leave here tonight. But I will be joined in just a couple of minutes by my good friend and co-caster Jag. So, Neely, thank you so much for joining us, man. Big shout out to Boise and UCSC for joining us here tonight as well. But everybody, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with more Overwatch.